U.S. companies from buying any telecommunications equipment from Huawei or any other Chinese telecom?
Well, I've made my position on this clear. I believe that there are many security concerns as it relates to Huawei and the development of Canada's 5G networks. We know the government of China has acknowledged its role in certain cyber attacks, and it's up to the government of Canada to protect not just the personal information of Canadians, but also the integrity of Canadian institutions.
Would you make sure Huawei didn't establish it?
As I said, my position on this has not changed. I've stated in the past that we would not allow Huawei to participate in the 5G network for precisely those types of security reasons. The key is to protect, the goal here is to protect Canada's security and the personal information of Canadians who will ultimately be using 5G. And so that's the first primary responsibility of a conservative government, and that's something that we would certainly...
Should the government make a decision sooner or later, given the fact that we have Canadians basically in prison in China? So would you like to see the Trudeau government make a quick decision on Huawei, or wait a bit?
Absolutely, they should have made a decision much earlier, and now, had they done that, they could have taken this off the table. I've been very concerned at the lack of action and the poor judgment that Justin Trudeau has displayed when it comes to China. As you mentioned, we have 2 Canadians being held illegally in China. We've seen actions against Canadian canola exports, now moving into pork exports. All along the way, the government of China is escalating this situation, and Justin Trudeau has done absolutely nothing about it. So I've called on the government to show some resolve and pull funding from the Asian Infrastructure Bank. That is something that I am prepared to do as Prime Minister, to stand up for Canadians, stand up for Canada's interests, and show the government of China that Canada will respond with strength.
Should the government make a quick decision on 5G now?
I believe that they should have made a decision much earlier. No time like the present, and the longer they wait, the more this becomes a chip that can be used.
La question climatique, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire des motions du NPD et des libéraux?
OK, mais premièrement, on va voter contre la motion de NPD parce que nous appuyons la construction de les oléoducs qui peut transporter l'énergie canadienne et c'est clair que c'est essentiel pour notre développement économique, et les oléoducs sont les meilleures façons de transporter notre pétrole. Nous avons eu une discussion sur la motion de le gouvernement, et c'est clair que M. Trudeau est un hypocrite sur la question de le CO2. Il a voyagé dans un avion privé à Tofino pour une vacance. Il a voyagé de Floride à Ottawa 4 fois dans 3 jours. Ce n'est pas des actions de quelqu'un qui pense que le changement climatique est une situation urgente. Son propre plan a aucune possibilité d'atteindre les cibles de Paris. Et maintenant, il utilisait cette motion de tourner la page de ces scandales d'éthique et pour cacher le fait qu'il n'y a aucune possibilité que ce gouvernement peut atteindre les cibles.
Will your plan meet the Paris targets? And if so, how will it meet it if you plan to get rid of the carbon tax? How would you do that?
First of all, let me say that conservatives absolutely believe that climate change is happening and that human beings have an impact on that, and that Canada has an obligation not just to reduce our own CO2 emissions, but to work in a global context to ensure that we're not just chasing away jobs and investments to other countries to see emissions go up in countries that don't have the same standards that Canada has, that don't have the same access to clean technology. On the question about the carbon tax, removing the carbon tax will not have an impact on our targets, because we know that the government's carbon tax will not reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This is the hypocritical nature of Justin Trudeau on this, that the carbon tax is not an environmental plan, it's a tax plan. And even the government's own analysis acknowledged that they will fall far short of their own targets. And on this motion, Justin Trudeau is a high-carbon hypocrite, flying to Tofino on a private jet for a vacation, flying to and from Florida 4 times in 3 days, to come back from his vacation for an Instagram photo op are not the actions of someone who thinks that there is a climate change emergency facing this country. So, as I said, our plan will be based on those targets, the targets that we agreed to in the House of Commons, not just in this Parliament, but the targets that the previous Conservative government set. And our plan will give Canadians the best chance of reaching those targets. One thing that is clear is that this government's own department acknowledges that they are falling further and further behind. And they're asking Parliament now to endorse their failed environmental plan, to hide the fact that we're getting further behind under their plan. That's not something that Canadians are tired of symbolic gestures. We're in the dying days of a scandal-plagued Liberal government, and they're using precious House time on a symbolic gesture rather than taking real action. Canadians are tired of that. Our plan will be a comprehensive plan, a real plan that gives Canadians the best chance of reaching our Paris targets. On va proposer un amendement. On va proposer des amendements qui reconnaître le fait qui vient de le gouvernement, le propre département de gouvernement, qui montre le fait que sous le plan de Trudeau, il n'y a aucune possibilité d'atteindre les cibles de Paris. Et maintenant, le gouvernement a l'audacité de proposer les réductions, les autres réductions. Il ne peut pas même atteindre ses propres cibles. Alors, on va proposer des amendements pour montrer le fait que les conservateurs croient dans le changement climatique, qui croient que les conservateurs croient que les êtres humains ont un impact sur notre environnement. Et on a une obligation, comme un pays, de réduire pas seulement nos émissions, mais travailler dans un contexte global.
Sur la question des tarifs sur l'aluminium et l'acier, on a des indications de l'administration américaine que ça pourrait être levé là, très prochainement. Est-ce que ce serait donc le temps pour le Canada de ratifier l'ALENA 2.0?
Les mesures préférées au part du Parti conservateur est que le gouvernement a eu l'opportunité de régler les questions de tarifs pendant les négociations. Mais il a offert les concessions à Donald Trump. Mme Freeland, M. Trudeau a donné beaucoup de concessions à Donald Trump sans gagner sur les tarifs d'acier et d'aluminium, sans gagner sur la question de la bois d'œuvre. L'opportunité pour renégocier l'ALENA, c'est une fois dans une génération. Et c'est important maintenant d'assurer qu'on peut avoir l'accès au marché des États-Unis et du Mexique, mais un gouvernement conservateur va travailler sur la question des tarifs spécifiquement.
Pour revenir sur la motion, dans la motion libérale, on parle de décréter une situation d'urgence nationale climatique. Est-ce que vous êtes confortable avec ces termes-là?
La chose que nous ne sommes pas confortables, c'est la question que c'est la réalité. Oui, je vais répondre, mais le fait que les actions du gouvernement ne reconnaîtront pas la situation d'urgence. Le fait que ce gouvernement n'a aucun plan pour atteindre ses propres cibles, la réalité que Justin Trudeau lui-même est un hypocrite quand il voyage à Tofino et en Floride 4 fois dans 4 jours, c'est Justin Trudeau qui ne reconnaît pas la situation d'urgence. Et on vu que même les députés libéraux ne croient pas que c'est une situation d'urgence. Il y a un rapport de leur caucus qui dit que c'est, je pense, 7e.
D'après vous, M. Scheer?
Oui, c'est clair qu'il y a une urgence et c'est clair que tous les niveaux de gouvernement doivent travailler ensemble et le Canada doit travailler avec nos partenaires partout au monde pour réduire les émissions dans un contexte national mais aussi global. Mais cette motion, on doit être clair, cette motion, c'est un geste symbolique avec aucune substance. C'est une cause d'une situation d'urgence politique pour Justin Trudeau. Parce qu'il a perdu un siège au Les Verts. Il a essayé de tourner le page sur ces scandales d'éthique. So it's clear that Justin Trudeau doesn't believe that this is an urgent situation. because he's not acting like someone who thinks that it's an urgent situation. He's had 3.5 years to propose real measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and instead, in the dying days of a scandal-prone government, he's introducing a symbolic gesture that will do nothing to actually reduce emissions. What is clear is that Justin Trudeau has a political emergency after losing a by-election to the Green Party, after seeing weeks now of ethical scandals, and after all we saw with SNC-Lavalin and now with the Mark Norman affair, he's desperately trying to change the channel and trying to get parliamentarians to endorse his failed plan.
How are you going to work in a global context when Donald Trump doesn't believe in the Paris Agreement?
When I talk about working in a global context, I talk about capitalizing on all the things that Canadians can do well here. For example, we had a question on steel and aluminum tariffs. We can produce aluminum in Canada at a fraction of the emissions that are emitted in China. When we see production and manufacturing going to countries like China that don't have anywhere near the same environmental standards or the access to clean technology or clean energy, we don't do the world a favor. We don't do the planet a favor if we see marginal reductions in emissions here in Canada and massive expansions of emissions in other countries because investments and jobs get displaced to those types of jurisdictions. Well, we'll see what the government does with our amendment. We believe that our amendment is practical. We'll be proposing it tomorrow, and it will speak to Canada's obligations on the global context. It will recognize that this is an important, an urgent situation that parliamentarians and governments of all levels have to respond to, but it will also point out the fact that Justin Trudeau, under his plan, is falling further and further away from his own targets. It will be proposed, and we hope that the other parties will support it. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Êtes-vous prêt à voter pour la motion dans son état actuel sans votre amendement?
On va voir si le gouvernement accepte notre amendement. On va voir mais c'est important aujourd'hui et dans les premiers jours. Mais j'espère qu'il va accepter. Je suis très optimiste qu'il va reconnaître le fait. Parce que les faits viennent de son propre département. Que sur le plan de Justin Trudeau, le Canada ne peut pas atteindre les cibles. Ça, c'est le message très important d'aujourd'hui et dans les prochains jours.
Votre plan à vous, il vient quand?